Hello, friends. I hope everyone is enjoying Celebration of Authors, and I'm so thrilled at this next part because we're introducing our first special guest of the evening. Carly Shiraki is a performer, writer, creator, producer, and a musician. Her mission is to invite audiences of all ages and collaborators of all kinds to play, investigate, and bounce. In kids' media space, her work is grounded in joy, curiosity, and resilience. Carly is the host of both Snug's House and the Big Fun Crafty Show, which were both nominated for 2019 Daytime Emmys in the Outstanding Live Action Preschool category. And both are currently available on Universal Kids. Carly was also the host of the Sunnyside Up Show on Sprout. She was featured on Tim Kubart's Building Blocks, which is a Grammy-nominated Best Children's Album. She also does voiceover work. And right before the whole world closed down, Carly actually flew to Denmark, home of Lego, to host the 2020 virtual Lego Ideas Conference. And last but certainly not least, Carly is an emeritus company member with PlayMakers Laboratory. Welcome to Celebration of Authors, Carly!
Oh my goodness, it's Celebration of Authors!
Oh my goodness, Carly, you know this because I've told you, this is my favorite event of the year, and I'm so glad that we could do it virtually. And the bonus about being virtual is that we can have guest artists from across the country join us like you are today.
I'm so happy to be here. Celebration of Authors has been one of my favorite parts of being a part of the PlayMakers Lab fam, and I can't believe I get to be a part of it this year.
Yay!
I have to tell you, I'm wearing the dress that I wore to the Emmys last year, so I just wanted to get really dressed up for it. And there's a good story behind it that I can tell you later. But
okay, well, could you tell us now? I want to hear about this dress.
I'll tell you now. So one of the shows that I was working on was an arts and crafts show. So I did this thing where I asked kids to send in art, and then a friend of mine, Marcy Harriel, who's like a sewist, an Instagram sewist, she helped me choose a kid's art, and then we turned it into fabric, and then that's the thing I wore. So this is a little girl named Emma, who's 10, designed this print. So we had it like printed small, and then for the skirt we had it printed big. And this is her design. So we got all these submissions. It was really fun. So I don't get a chance to wear it very often, especially in quarantine.
That's true. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
I wore this jacket at last year's Celebration of Authors, and I thought it would be appropriate to wear it again because it's my fanciest jacket.
I mean, it's fancy.
Thank you. So Carly, can you tell, I want to hear all about how you got started working PlayMakers Laboratory Theater.
Yeah, so when I was a student at Northwestern, I was a part of Griffin's Tale. And so it was always on my radar to like graduate and like grow up to be an adult that got to do PlayMakers Lab. So I think I started as like an intern probably right after college. And I remember the Celebration of Authors that year, or it might have been like the year after that. But I just remember being so blown away by everything that the kids had written and by the way everybody just lifted up their stories. Like I can remember getting chills in the audience, or like in the backstage, like watching everything go on. And so that was the very beginning. And then from there, I taught residencies. I think Dixon or New Sullivan was my first residency. And so I taught and performed, did, rounds of That's Where Grandma was just like, I had a lot of jobs right after college, but this was my favorite. It took up like a good deal of time and like in like a good way. Like teaching those residencies was everything.
I love that. So it sounds like from even before college, you were planning on going into theater and arts education and working with young people and creating art and making magic. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started as a performer, artist, creator?
Yeah, I mean, I am the oldest of 7 kids. So what that means is I was a director of a small theater ensemble as a young person. It was like, come downstairs and be in my play, everyone. So I think we're a very performative family. So we're always like making up plays and carrying on and all this stuff. And then I did community theater all like through school as a kid. And and studied it in school. And what I loved about Northwestern is there was like a creative drama concentration. So essentially like, theater teaching, but it was so focused on like shepherding the performance process and the performance experience with kids rather than like, here are their lines and here's the show that they're going to do. Being a part of a process and making it authentic to all the players involved is totally what PlayMakers Lab does also. And I can sort of track that in my life. When I was in high school, I did a production of Godspell, which is basically like an ensemble-based musical where in this particular production, we were asked to kind of bring ourselves to the table and improvise a lot. And I remember thinking like, this is different than every other show I've ever done. And when I look back, I can kind of track constantly being attracted to processes and projects like that. So, it all tracks. Somehow I've been consistent.
Yeah. Carly, I think we actually met for the first time in that class in creative drama at Northwestern, Betsy Quinn's advanced class. And I remember we taught on Saturdays, we had students from Evanston come and we created these drama lessons and did it at their school. And it was so much fun. And that was where I was first introduced to the fabulousness of Carly Shiraki.
That is totally true. That is where we first met. Those were such good days.
So you said that you also got to teach with PlayMakers Lab. Do you remember any, fun experiences that you had in the classroom?
I mean, we truly had so many like absolutely amazing experiences, especially going back to the same schools every year meant that I felt like I had like relationships with the kids. Reading through all of the journals was, I think, always my favorite day of everything. Setting aside a whole day to hold in my hands the creativity of the kids that we had met was just something that I actually missed being connected to kids in that way. It's one thing to be in the rehearsal process and read the stories that we, chose to put on stage, but to see a whole journal full of ideas, some of them that were just like half finished or some that like had pictures attached to them, like all these things, to see like the whole picture of a creative mind, I think really stands out as something special. I have another memory from teaching, which is the time, I'm pretty sure this was for New Sullivan, where we meet pretty early to go to these schools. And I was just like driving myself and I was out of it and I missed an exit and I ended up in Indiana and had to like come back and was late. I can't remember what school it was from, but I had to like call whoever was in charge and be like, I feel like I had to call Luke and be like, I'm in Indiana. I'm coming.
We still drive all over the city. And now we're performing virtually and teaching virtually too.
Which is the best. You gotta do it.
So, Carly, you're known in PlayMakers Lab for having discovered Justin Bieber. I mean, it's true. We would read stories and, celebrities start to appear. And suddenly I remember several years ago, Justin Bieber started to appear and many of us didn't know who this was. But Carly said, hang on, y'all, I got this. What's it like to discover Justin Bieber?
Wow, thank you so much for asking. It's true. I was one of the first the first people to really like understand, get, and know him. At the time, I was also working for Radio Disney, so I was like really steeped in like anything that was playing on the top 40 of Radio Disney, I knew like the back of my hand, and Justin Bieber was really having a moment. And I was just genuinely enjoying the simplicity and the magic of his pop jams. So I jumped at the chance to portray him in as many stage appearances as I could. Like, I feel like I remember running around with a hoodie, being Justin Bieber, like in more than one show. I'm not mad about it. Again, these are things that I miss. I also play music for babies around town, and I would play the song Baby because they were like babies. So I always thought that was very funny. So I could play the song on the guitar as an offering at parties and stuff.
Well, I remember that blonde wig. It just seemed like you owned it, and it seemed like whenever Justin Bieber came up and you were in the cast, it was like, Carly, we need you.
The bangs.
Yep. Yeah, it was when he had the bowl cut bangs.
Yeah, I was Chicago's Bieber.
Yeah.
Like, that's my legacy that I left behind.
Yeah.
I don't know that I know what Justin Bieber's up to right now. I can't tell you that I would perform him right now, but that was the heyday of Justin Bieber.
Yeah, baby Bieber.
Yeah, Baby Beeps.
Do you have a favorite story adaptation that you remember working on?
Yes. First of all, like the experience of taking these stories and turning them into short, plays and songs on such a fast turnaround trained my brain for absolutely everything that I do now with my life. Like it was such a awesome collaborative training ground, and like muscle strengthening. We got a story called Cielo Amarillo, so yellow sky, and I turned it into a song, and it was the first time I had like written a song before in that way. I was really nervous about it and really kind of proud of the way that it turned out, and tried really hard to like honor how beautiful the story was. So that is the first thing that comes to mind, because I've written a lot of songs over the years for other stuff, and I remember that being like a moment where I was like, oh, I can do this. And PlayMakers Lab gave me the chance to like collaborate with that author and do that. And then I'm thinking of Bob, the spider monkey. Isn't that his name? Bob? Which I was not the only one to play Bob. Like it's a favorite character role, but I didn't create that role. But I just remember, like, I have a vision of That's Weird Grandma and just like loving that moment of being Bob.
Spider monkey.
Yeah.
And he shot webs out of his hands.
Yep.
I was speaking of Cielo Amarillo. I was just like thinking about you, knowing that we were going to have an interview and that you were going to be at Celebration of Authors. And I actually recently listened to Cielo Amarillo. And Carly, I have to say, it's one of the most beautiful songs. Your guitar work, your instrumental is just absolutely fabulous on it.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, also, I want to shout out a song that Jeff Trainer and I wrote together called On My Block. That was also that was fun. I think it came after that, but man, the songwriting with Monkeys was so fun.
We've been doing that now too, where we encourage artists to pair up with musicians, get creative, think about how they can collaborate on songs, and continue to hopefully inspire more artists, musicians, and get our artists delving into other activities.
Yes.
Wow.
I love that. Also, like choreographers, like I feel like there was a lot of collaboration on choreography. I'm thinking of 12 Dancing Hip Hop Princesses.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think Philip and I choreographed that. I can't remember.
Yes, you know what? I have to move this out of the way because I just remember, this is my chair. I'm just moving. I'm going to do a little dance. I love dancing too. I like to choreograph, but my favorite was the 12 Dancing Hip Hop Princesses.
That's the move.
Oh, and now you're able to see that I'm only wearing shorts.
Oh my God.
under my secret nice attire.
This skirt comes off though, I will say, which is what's cool about this.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like this is a romper. This is like a shorts romper. And then this is a skirt that like ties on top of it.
Oh my goodness, this design keeps getting more and more fabulous.
I know. Marcy, you got to follow Marcy on Instagram. I'm telling you, she knows. Marcy Ariel.
Yeah, and what a collaboration.
No, I'm all about collab.
Carly, you just landed a brand new show. Or rather, you've been secretly filming a brand new show. Can you tell us about it?
I would love to. So I spent most of last year, up until 3 weeks before everything locked down, shooting a show called Weird But True that is going to air on Disney Plus through National Geographic Kids on August 14th. We're able a couple weeks ago to announce it, and now it's going to be in the world in merely 2 weeks. And it's so cool and so special and so fun. It is a science show. So we traveled all over the country to be with different experts. We were in Hawaii twice. We went to California and like searched for scorpions, which fluoresce under UV light. So we like went hunting for scorpions in the woods. I learned how to scuba dive. I shoveled coal into the steam box of a steam train. It just like all these crazy adventures. And part of the show has all of the science explained in these 2D paper crafted, like puppeteered, like montages sort of, which feels very PlayMakers Lab. Like the way that the stuff is explained is really like tangible and crafted. It's a really special and fun show. It's great for ages 8 and up. It's actually the 3rd season of the show. The first 2 seasons are already up on Disney Plus now. The creator, Charlie, co-hosted it with his sister, and then she didn't want to do the 3rd season. So they were like, who wants to do the 3rd season of the show? I was like, oh, I will do that. I will do that. So I'm super excited that I got to be a part of it, and it was like a bananas 8 months, and now it's in the world soon. So.
Oh my goodness. Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you. You're all with me all the time, you know, like it's such a fun thing to get to come through the world of PlayMakers Lab, because everybody's always doing awesome things. So paying attention to what everyone's up to is always fun. And I feel like the time that we all spent together, like wherever we crossed over in our journeys, has had such an impact on the art that we continue to make moving forward. So it really does feel like the spirit of everybody is with me all the time.
Thank you. I think it's incredible. I felt the same thing too, that PlayMakers Lab has provided me with so much of a community support. It's also, you know, helped me artistically. Who knows where I'd be without it, right? So you've done some fabulous things in your life, such as hosting the Macy's Day Parade, getting nominated for Emmys, going to the Lego convention. Like, what's something wacky that you've done that we don't know about?
Oh my gosh. I mean, those are some really good things. Truthfully, I know I just told you about this, but I think learning how to scuba dive for this show that I just finished is the most insane thing that I have ever done in my life. They're like, so for our last episode, we're thinking that we're going to have you scuba dive. Like, are you okay to get scuba certified for this? And I was like, what am I going to say? No. So I was like, yes. It was one of the scariest and hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And then I had to learn how to scuba dive underwater with a special mask that you talk into. So like, it's a full face mask that has like a little microphone built into it. And it was really hard. So that just is the first thing that comes to mind. Never in a million years would I have been like, you know what I'm going to do is like learn how to scuba dive. So, but I figured it out, and it actually is amazing. And I'm really excited as soon as we can do things like scuba dive again to be out in the world doing that. And I never thought, I don't even really like to swim. I used to wear aqua socks in the water because I didn't like my toes touching the sand. Like, I'm not a person that wants to be in the water. So you might think that you're a person that doesn't do something, and then you try it, everything changes.
I have one more question for you. What kind of advice do you have for artists who are out there trying to make it?
Oh man, yeah. Keep going, and keep following the places and the people and the work that lights you up. Like, I feel like as an artist, you know when you're having a moment with another collaborator or with a project where like your heart starts to get set on fire a little, and you're like, oh, this is great. And I think if you start identifying when that's happening, you can start paying attention to like what all the projects and people that allow you to have that feeling have in common, and then just follow it. So yeah, keep trying, keep going, find the people you love who are making the work that you admire. And also, if you know people that are making work you admire, reach out to them, say hi, say, hey, can I talk to you about what you do and why you do it? I think I have done that in my life, and it's always been rewarding to hear back from people who are making things I admire.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible advice. Well, Carly, thank you so much for coming to Celebration of Authors with us, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I love Celebration of Authors.
Oh, it's a dream. If we want to catch Carly Ciarrocchi again, you can catch her on Snug's House or the Big Fun Crafty Show on Universal Kids, or check her out on Disney Plus. Now, when is your new show coming?
August 14th. It drops on D+. Be there. You got to go to National Geographic Kids and then find Weird But True, Season 3 with your girl.
Fabulous. And to play us out a little bit, here's a little Cielo Amarillo by Carly Shiraki.
Oh.
Una vez en México estaba lloviendo mucho. Yo estaba muy aburrido y estaba en la cama sentado viendo la ventana.